Hello. What if I told you that the difference between the traditional bread and the modern bread is not just ingredients, but it's a time? So most of the bread we eat today is made in a few hours, most likely. But traditional sourdough can take up to 2 days, like 48 hours. That difference matters because it shows how modern food production has changed. Not just what we eat, but how the food is made. Sourdough bread is a traditional food practice whose long fermentation process takes it scientifically and culturally different from modern industrial bread. So I have personal experience in baking sourdough, and it's also research scientific and global resources such as the Food and Agriculture Organization, Slow Food International, Harvard Health Publishing, and the World Health Organization. And today I will explain what sourdough is and what happens during fermentation and why it has become so relevant again today. So let's start. Sourdough is more than just a bread. It is method, right? Has been passed down for thousands of years. And instead of using commercial yeast, sourdough relies on wild yeast and beneficial bacteria that exist in the natural environment. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, traditional food systems rely on natural biological processes and local knowledges rather than industrial methods. That means that sourdough is not controlled by any factories. It is shared across cultures and generations, right? And sourdough is one of the most and oldest forms of living bread and helps preserve microbial diversity. So according to the Slow Food International, traditional fermentation practices protect cultural food heritage and biodiversity. So now that we understand sourdough as a tradition, let's look what is actually happening inside of the dough. Let's think, right? The sourdough ferments when you mix the flour, water, and starter mixed together, and it becomes a living biological system. It ferments, and wild yeast produces carbon dioxide, which just makes the bread rise, while bacteria produces acids that changes the structure of the dough. According to researchers published in the food microbiology journals, these acids directly affect the texture and the structure of the bread. And during this process, compounds like phytic and acid begin to break down, which improves the body's ability to absorb minerals. According to Harvard Health Publishing, long fermentation may also reduce substances that interfere with digestion and nutrient absorption. Here's the key difference. Industrial bread made is about 2 to 3 hours, right? So sourdough can take from 12 to 48 hours. This extra time allows chemicals and biological changes that simply cannot happen in a fast production. So why does the scientific differences matter in today's world, right? Let's talk about that. Sourdough has become very popular again, and because people are questioning modern industrial food system. Many people are more aware of highly processed food and want to understand what they are eating. So according to the World Health Organization, and global health concerns are increasingly linked to diet with a high processed foods. As a result, people are turning towards more traditional methods like sourdough. So sourdough is also connected to sustainability and local food production. For example, during COVID-19, many people began baking sourdough at home as the way to reconnect with a slower and more meaningful routines. And also according to Slow Food International, consumers are increasingly drawn to food practices that emphasize tradition and sustainability and community. To to sum it all up, I want to say the sourdough is not simply bread. It's science, it's history, and a culture, all combined. We explored sourdough as a traditional practice. We also examined the science behind fermentation, and we also discussed its role in a modern food system. Understanding fermentations shows us that the food is not only about convenience, but it's also about the time, biology, and values. And also, I want to say the last. In a world focused on speed, sourdough reminds us that some transformations takes some time. Thank you.